Hello everyone, my name's Annie Rubin. I am the autoimmune dietitian. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I cover everything related to autoimmune disease, nutrition, and lifestyle. Today we are going to talk about stress. So stress is a major trigger for autoimmune diseases. In fact, many retrospective studies have found that a large population of participants with autoimmune diseases experience stress prior to the onset of their disease. It's also not a coincidence that both autoimmune disease diagnoses and chronic stress levels are on the rise. So today we're going to focus on stress. How can it trigger autoimmunity and what you can do to start lowering your own chronic stress levels. So before I jump in, I just need to attach my usual disclaimer to this video that the information in today's talk is not the substitute for the diagnosis, treatment, or care of disease by a medical provider. This is for informational purposes only. So please consult your qualified health professional for any changes you make to your medical care. All right, so how does stress trigger autoimmune diseases? Well, chronic stress affects our HPA axis. This axis, which stands for hypothalamus pituitary adrenal, it regulates our stress response. And the HPA axis works as a feedback loop to both initiate and dampen a stress response. However, when you're undergoing a lot of stress or chronic stress, this feedback loop stops working and your body is unable to shut down the stress response. When this happens, your body stops recognizing cortisol, which is one of your major stress hormones. It essentially becomes desensitized to it. And cortisol is actually an anti-inflammatory hormone. So when the body can't respond to cortisol, cortisol is unable to help you control inflammation. Therefore, your body produces more inflammatory cytokines, which raises systemic inflammation. The second way that stress can trigger autoimmune diseases is how it affects the gut. So have you ever wondered why your stomach gets upset when you're feeling a lot of stress? And this is because stress also affects our digestive system. And stress can trigger a number of things, including dysbiosis. So there was a study done on mice that showed that stress changed the intestinal bacteria and stimulated immune cells to attack its own body. Stress can trigger leaky gut. So it can actually cause intestinal permeability. And as I've said before, leaky gut is a hallmark sign and potential trigger of autoimmune diseases. And then it can also increase inflammation in the intestines. So stress causes inflammation in the intestines. One review study has shown increased inflammation for inflammatory bowel disease patients with stress. So these three gut issues are highly correlated with autoimmune disease onset and flares, and stress may actually play a role in each of them. So the good news is there are a lot of different techniques and modalities that help lower chronic stress. And here are a few to consider if stress is an issue for you. The first one is meditation. So meditation is one of the most studied modalities for lowering chronic stress. And there's a number of ways that you can practice meditation, including mindfulness-based meditation, mantra-based meditation, focused meditation, and movement actually is a form of meditation. One review found that meditation helped lower cortisol, inflammatory blood markers, blood pressure, heart rate, and triglycerides. The key thing to remember about meditation is you want to find the one that feels the best for you. I personally do a mantra-based meditation that I learned through Ziva meditation, but there are many others you can try as well. The second way that you can lower chronic stress is through nature. So this is one easily accessible option for lowering stress, is just literally spending time in nature. A small study looked at participants' salivary cortisol and alpha amylase before and after spending at least 10 minutes in nature. And researchers found that the greatest drop in stress markers happened after spending between 20 to 30 minutes in nature. And that's literally just being in the trees. So, you also have probably heard that the Japanese have been practicing forest bathing for years, and simply walking intentionally through the forest and taking in the sights and sounds can do wonders for your mental and physical health. Another way to lower stress is by heart math. So heart math is based on years of research on the connection between the heart and the brain. In fact, the heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain does to the heart, which is very counterintuitive to what we believe. So with that in mind, this practice focuses on training your heart and your thoughts to influence the brain to help lower stress. It uses a coherence monitor to help you use positive thoughts and emotions to get your heart rate pattern into coherence. And by doing this practice, you learn what it feels like to be in coherence, which is essentially a low stress state. Lastly, there is therapy. So there are several therapy options to help better manage chronic stress, and some of which include cognitive behavioral therapy. So the goal of CBT is to help you identify negative and stress-inducing thinking patterns and create helpful behaviors to improve your thoughts and emotions. There's also mindfulness-based stress reduction, or MBSR. These are structured group programs that help people manage stress and cope with life challenges, and the program emphasizes mindfulness and paying attention to the present. There's also eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR. It's a form of psychotherapy that helps people rewire neural networks associated with traumatic or disturbing life experiences to make new associations that are more positive and beneficial. And lastly, there's somatic experiencing, which focuses on sensations and imagery to help release stress from the body. So just to recap, today we focused on stress, how it is related to autoimmune disease and the onset of these conditions, what it does in your body, and then ways that you can start lowering your chronic stress. If you would like more help managing stress or just want to find ways to use both nutrition and lifestyle as a way to improve your symptoms, I would love to chat with you. I offer free 15-minute discovery calls to learn about your goals and to see if we are a good fit for each other. So if you go to my link in my YouTube profile, you'll find a discovery call link. You'll also find a link to my website where I've got lots of great information about my services. I've got an extensive blog. I have some free downloadable guides that you can check out. And then I obviously have my whole YouTube library full of videos and things that can hopefully help you live better with your autoimmune disease. If you do not subscribe to my YouTube channel, please hit the little subscribe button. I do try to put these videos out about every week, just trying to give you lots of information to help you live better with your autoimmune disease. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time.